As we get closer and closer to the NBA playoffs, it's safe to say that there are a number of players this season who have not performed to expectations and have produced far less than they should have. Players either with massive contracts that don't deserve it, or somebody who looked really good and got hyped up by fans before the season started just to fall flat. In this video, I want to go over some NBA players who I think are overrated. Now, just a quick heads up, if I say a player is overrated, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad player, just that people are adding too much value to a player who doesn't deserve it. First up is a player that is not currently active, but I still wanted to include him in this video, and that player is Kobe Bryant. And before you get angry over the selection, just hear me out. Kobe is obviously one of the greatest players to ever play, but the amount of times I've seen Kobe placed top 5, top 3, or even number 1 in all-time rankings is crazy to me. Kobe fans will swear to you that nobody was ever or will ever be greater than Kobe, which makes no sense. First off, Kobe was not the best player for the majority of his championships. The early 2000s three-peat was led by Shaq. Now yes, the Lakers would not have won any of those rings without Kobe, but Shaq was clearly the best player, and Shaq would have been able to bring the team further without Kobe than Kobe would have without Shaq. And we have proof of this. After Shaq got traded, the Lakers missed the playoffs as the 11th seed the next season, and the next 2 seasons after that, they got bounced in the first round as a 7th seed. Then, after 4 years, they traded for Pau Gasol, who gave them the push they needed to contend. Now sure, Kobe didn't have the greatest supporting cast, but he still had good teammates, the best of which was Lamar Odom, who went to LA as part of the Shaq trade, who was a borderline all-star player. During his time with the Lakers, from when he first got there to the end of the 2007 season, Lamar Odom averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists on 48% shooting from the field while being a serviceable defender. A big part of why Kobe gets overrated today is the sheer size and passion of his fan base, which consists of majority Laker fans who make up a large part of the overall NBA fandom. When so many of these fans insist that Kobe is the greatest player ever, newer fans who didn't get to watch him live often just absorb that narrative without really digging into the context themselves. And after Kobe's death, the conversation around him naturally shifted towards celebrating his legacy, which led many to focus only on the positives of his game and amplify them beyond what they should. Next up on the list is Deandre Ayton of the Los Angeles Lakers. Looking at his stats, Deandre Ayton is having the worst year of his career production-wise. He's averaging 13 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block a game on 67% shooting from the field. Now, looking at these stats, you would think that Deandre Ayton is actually playing pretty good. Yeah, his stats are down a little bit, but that's because he's playing with Luka Doncic and LeBron James. But if you actually watch the Lakers play, you'll see that Deandre Ayton is so uninterested with the team. A lot of times, he doesn't even look like he's trying. He doesn't box out hard for rebounds, he gives minimal defensive effort, and on offense, really all he's content with doing is just setting screens. These are narratives that followed Deandre Ayton his whole career, even back to when he was a young player with the Phoenix Suns. Before the season started, people thought that Luka and LeBron could have a similar effect on Deandre that Chris Paul had on him, as CP3 made Deandre Ayton look like a max contract type player. The only real upside with Deandre Ayton is that he's only making $8 million per year, so it's not like the Lakers have a ton of money invested in him, and he wouldn't be that difficult to trade in the offseason. The next player I'm going to be covering is Brandin Podziemski of the Golden State Warriors. Now, Pods is definitely more liked than Deandre Ayton, but that doesn't mean people haven't criticized him all year. A lot of times during the season, Brandin Podziemski has been very inconsistent and very inefficient and should not have been getting as much playing time as he has been. I think a lot of the hate comes from the fact that Steve Kerr absolutely loves Podziemski and gives him a lot of playing time for no reason. But he never really showed the same appreciation for other guys like Jonathan Kuminga, who is definitely the better player. And people feel that Steve Kerr is doing more harm than good for the Warriors' future because of how he picks favorites on the team instead of doing what's best for the team's future. Next up, I have Russell Westbrook of the Sacramento Kings. On paper, Russ's numbers look pretty good. He's averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. But what really made me put him here was the fact that he has still not developed anything close to a reliable jump shot. He still makes dumb late game decisions, and he cannot take care of the ball effectively. He averages 3.3 turnovers per game, which is 9th in the league, despite the fact he only plays 29 minutes per game, which is 60th in the league. Combining Russ's carelessness with the ball with both his highly inefficient shooting and his below average defense, and the fact that he plays for the Sacramento Kings, it's safe to say he's not exactly putting up meaningful stats, and he still can't do it efficiently either. Russell Westbrook is for sure an NBA legend, but at this point in his career, he has not adapted at all, and he still tries to play like it's 2017. The next player on this list is RJ Barrett of the Toronto Raptors, and RJ is here largely for the same reason as Russell Westbrook. Coming into the season, he was viewed as being Toronto's number 2 scorer behind Brandin Ingram, but a lot of times this season, he's looked like the team's 4th option because sometimes he's so inefficient in games, which is hard to believe when you see he averages 49% from the field and 35% from 3. But if you watch the Raptors play, you will see that RJ will a lot of times drive into 2 defenders and throw up a crazy tough layup with no chance of going in hopes of drawing a foul. The amount of games just this season where I've seen RJ Barrett shoot 3 of 13 from the field is unreal. To really prove my point on this right now, close your eyes and I want you to think about RJ Barrett. Now think, what does he do at a high level? He's not a great defender, he's not a great rebounder or playmaker. He can shoot mid-ranges and threes, but he is not elite at either of them. He gets to the rim a decent amount, but he isn't that efficient on close shots. And he makes very poor late game decisions with stupid turnovers and bad shot selection that have cost Toronto several close games in just the past few weeks alone. The last player I want to talk about is Rudy Gobert of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Over the past couple of years, the general view on Rudy Gobert has been getting worse and worse. Most people don't think Rudy Gobert deserves 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, which is tied for the most in NBA history with Ben Wallace and Dikembe Mutombo. A lot of people don't view him as that good of a defender. On top of that, a lot of people feel he's very overpaid for someone who can barely shoot a layup, which is fair criticism. Rudy Gobert has had a history of being one of the worst offensive players in the entire NBA throughout his entire career, and he has been consistently playing poorly come playoff time. And for the amount of accolades he's earned throughout his career, you would think that he deserves a $35 million per year contract. But it's very obvious that he's very overpaid for such a one-dimensional player. Now that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe as it helps me out a lot. And comment down below whether you agreed or disagreed with anything I said in this video. If you made it to the end, I truly appreciate you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.